Hey, a fantastic good morning to you from Felixstowe Live's Wednesday Live chat show, really. And we're here in my little tiny titchy studio to look at two or three stories. The first one that we're going to be dealing with this morning is Hamilton Road, because we've heard about another shop closing, and it looks like a couple more are going. And we're going to talk about the future of what our town centre is going to be like in the fairly short term. I think that's the first story. The second thing I'm going to lay back and have a rest during, which is the excellent Graham Denny from Basic Life Charity is going to be talking about the effects of the pandemic. He's going to be talking about Basic Life, which I think is an amazing charity, and it was 20 years old last year. So, hey, I'm impressed. And we're going to do those in a moment, but first we'll say hello to Jenny Patterson. Hello, Jenny. Cold out there? No, it's not. I'm in the warm, so I'm fine and I don't care. I'll probably go out a bit later, maybe, if I don't think I don't think I need anything. I don't think I'm going to be honest with you, but there you have it. Okay, so first on our list, let's go and find the first thing first. And this is the story that actually got people going yesterday. Here we are. It's Dotty Peas, and Dotty Peas has been sold, as has Burton, has I think it's Top Shop. They've all been sold to a company called Boohoo, which is an online retailer. They are famous for selling young people's clothing, very cheap clothing, kind of wear it once and chuck away stuff, I guess. I don't know, really. But they want to move into a larger, wider audience. And they think the way to do it is by buying brands and effectively moving away from their kind of original base and moving into bigger brands where people buy stuff at a higher price, probably more profitable per unit. Well, definitely more profitable per unit. So they're going for different markets to expand their business. They're not going to give up what they do now. They're going to actually expand their business into a different kind of audience. But that in turn means that they're only going to do it online. They're not interested in running big retail stores. So Dotty Peas is one we are losing. There's been a lot of interestedness on the on the various sites around Felixstowe. So it's worth maybe thinking about that a bit more and thinking about what's going to happen in our town over the coming weeks and months and years. We have an issue, don't we? Because we've lost Marks and Sparks. We've lost, or we are losing the sort of offshoots of the Arcadia Group. So Edinburgh Woolen Mill closed a few weeks ago, and doubtless, I hate to say it, really, I think the other two shops in that group are probably closing as well. So it's pretty horrible. I don't know where we're going with it. What do you think? The other thing that's an interesting question is, how do we get people into shops? And what sort of shops can we have? A lot of people have been very unhappy, I think, at the look of the town with the big retailers gone. They think, well, it's just all cafes and restaurants and kind of hairdressers, 28 men's hairdressers, that kind of stuff. And what's going to happen next? To be honest with you, I wonder whether it's time for a complete rejig of high streets and high street offerings. I don't know what Ipswich is looking like at the moment. I haven't been through the town centre of Ipswich for a long time. But I guess all town centres probably look the same way. I can remember years ago going to a place in the Midlands called Lichfield, and almost every town centre shop was closed or was vacant. And that was terrible. And I guess at some point that's going to happen here, unless we do whatever we can to save it. This is a message from Victoria Petchy, who's down at Beach Street. Beach Street is where it's at. Well, yeah, possibly, Victoria. It's an interesting one, isn't it? And sadly, Beach Street itself, of course, is the kind of ordinary the non-essential retailers and the non-takeaway retailers down at Beach Street, as we know, are closed as well. So it's a bit of a bugger, isn't it, really? What do we do with the high streets? Well, I've tried to get some additional input from people like estate agents and so on around the place, and they really don't want to talk about it. And when you think about it, I guess they're probably a bit stuck themselves because they don't want to talk about it because it's worrying. The thing that could happen is that, in effect, the kind of retail store market, if you like, for shop rentals for big shops is obviously in the process of collapsing. And is that going to drag across all the other shops? I don't know. It might be a good thing in some ways, insofar as it might encourage smaller businesses and I don't know, kind of more handmade stuff to go, the kind of crafty end of the market to go into shops, because if the prices of the rentals of shops came down, and certainly the business rates on shops came down, then to be honest with you, maybe that would do the trick. Maybe that would revitalise our town centre. It's certainly true that I think large shop units are going to be a bit of a no-no in the future. What do you think? I'd love to hear your views here on Felixstowe Live's Facebook page. Don't forget that we really and truly, honestly, how can I say this? We really want to get more conversations on our page. We do post stuff on a lot of other pages, as you know. Well, we publish it on the Felixstowe group and on the residents page at the Felixstowe Residents, and we post on those two, and we get a lot more conversations, sadly, on those than we do on these. But it's one of those things we continue to share because we want people to get more involved locally. Okay, I'm just going to take a small minute and have a look at something. I shan't be a mo because I have to do this kind of stuff. Here we go. I'm just going to play you a little. This is not a commercial, although it is. One of the things that we do try and do, we try and do more and more of the time. I'm trying to do more and more of the time. It's quite hard work. And we're actually looking for more people to get involved with Felixstowe Live. If you have an idea, something you'd like to do, it could be a bit of a rant, if you like, or it could be anything, really. I don't know. Put it up and see what you make of it. If you have an idea of something you would like to do, get in touch. And we'll have a conversation about it. I'm entirely happy to produce programs made and originated by you if you've got a bright idea for something you'd like to talk about, or something you'd like to show, or something you'd like to do on Felixstowe Live. Here's a thought for you. The other thing to say as well, what I think about it is, well, there's two more things. One is, if you have a business that needs promoting, don't forget that you can get in touch with us. What's happened to people? I always used to find there were loads of people who would like to get in touch with their local media. Well, Felixstowe Live is as much of local media as we've got these days. If you want to get in touch to promote your business, get in touch with me and we'll do what we can. We do try and do our best for local businesses. And finally, the bit that I want to mention kind of now is that we do like people who like us. If you like what Felixstowe Live does, then come back to us and become a supporter. For less than the price of a cup of Costa coffee a month, you can support Felixstowe Live and encourage us to create more content. Okay, just have a look at this. I think technology got away with itself there, don't you? I didn't. You never know with these systems because they all do a life of their own. But if you'd like to support Felixstowe Live, we would love to have your support for the cost of less than the cost of coffee every month. Okay. One of the things that I promised earlier in the show was that we would have a chat with someone who lots of people know. And that's a very, well, I would say he's a local personality, really. It's a man called Graham Denny. And in the year 2000, he actually founded Basic Life Charity. he decided there was a real genuine need for a local charity working locally with local people, collecting money locally and reinvesting it, if you like, in the people of our community. And Graham started Basic Life Charity. I've known him for a long time. I think he is a genuine local hero. And I said to him, would you like to be on Felixstowe Live and have a chat about what you're doing and about the pandemic? So coming up right now, we've got young Graham Denny. I'll just find his interview. Now, bear in mind, this is a pre-recorded video. It was actually recorded yesterday morning. But I wanted to have a chat with him because, as I say, he is a bit of a local hero to us. And it's also to show what we do, because we can talk to anybody down the line now from Felixstowe live shows. If you want to be on, get in touch. I'd love to hear from you. But here we go with Graham Denny. I pressed the wrong button. I'm useless at this sometimes, aren't I? Our victim for today's little video chat on Felixstowe Live is a gentleman called Graham Denny. I've known him for donkey's years. He started Felixstowe's own, really internationally known charity back in the year 2000. So he's been running Felixstowe's Basic Life charity for over 20 years. That's a colossal achievement. And first thing to do, Graham, is to say, my goodness, that's been a hard slog, and I know you worked incredibly hard. How do you feel at the end of this 20-year period? You must be chuffed.
Well, it's good because the charity's grown, and as a result of that, we've been able to help more people, which is what it's all about. So the bigger we get, the more we expand and take chances and risks. We don't always get it right, but sometimes we do, and then we can help more people. So it's quite nice to see how it's grown, and all the thanks goes to the staff and the volunteers who give so much time to enable it to happen.
Right. I mean, now at this period in time, we're in a very strange situation, aren't we, with COVID and with the current situation. Really, the whole thing is difficult. What's happening in the world of charity, in as far as you're concerned, in Felixstowe? We know that before the lockdown started, there were already people struggling, really having a hard time back at the beginning of 2020, and now in 2021, we're a year down the line. How are people coping? Your clients, particularly the people you really try and look after.
Well, in the first lockdown from March last year, we closed the shops and turned them into emergency resource centres. So we're able to give out lots and lots of food and essentials, and we kind of like gave our stock away, really. This time around, it's a bit different because people are still able to go out and do shopping. And the major resource we've got for people are our pop-up shops, where we have a partnership with the supermarkets, all the major supermarkets. And as many people know, we operate from 4 or 5 sites per week in Felixstowe, where people can go along and get really good quality food. So that's helping people a lot, the people who can't afford it or don't want to go into supermarkets or major places like that. So we have lots of safety COVID, restrictions at the pop-up shops, but people can go along and they do get their food from there. So I think that's helping a great deal.
Do you think people are, I mean, my general feeling is that people who were suffering before lockdown must be suffering more now, though, really.
Yeah, I think it's a real deep and broad problem. I think with the food insecurity, it was just a deep problem for a few people originally, but with COVID and all the other things that have gone on, it's a broader problem. So it brings in people who wouldn't have been in the food insecurity trap before, people who are working, virtually everybody, really, you and me, everybody is suffering at the moment. And sadly, I think it's going to get worse as we come out of lockdown, because people will then start to try to live again. Some of the bills they've put on hold, or people have been helpful with them, will be stark reality. They've just got to be paid. So we're going to have a long recovery time, but we'll be there as a charity behind the people all the way through, as we have been right from the start of the pandemic.
The big question to ask then, on behalf of really everybody in Felixstowe, is how can we help Basic ourselves? What can we do to help Basic do more, to help the more people who are going to have problems, really?
Well, the donations are amazing. We get so many donations, and what we do, it's like a mincer machine, if you like. If you think of that, the stuff goes in the top, we churn it round, and out the bottom comes money, which we can then pass on to help people. And during the lockdown, I'm here at our depot. We've got nearly 1,500 items on eBay. We've got 1,600 books on Amazon, and we're really trying to make money online as much as we can. So we squeeze every penny out of everything we get to help people. And there's been situations recently where we've given grants out to individuals in really, really extreme need, and help with different things that they need so they can have a decent quality of life. But we don't just give money out to anybody who asks. It's got to be a really, really difficult situation, and we'll give them a grant to help them out.
I suppose from the point of view of us people out here who want to support you, we've got stuff to give to you, and books and clothes and stuff. But at the moment, can we do that? Is it possible to get stuff to you, or just not at the moment?
Not at the moment, I'm afraid. It's one of the real frustrating things that we know. You know, I must get at least 10 emails a day saying we've got this, can we drop it off? And I have to say no. So from our viewpoint, it's so frustrating because we can turn that stuff into money, and we're obviously taking a very big hit at the moment because both of our shops are closed. We haven't got any income, so the bills still come in, so we're taking a bit of a hit, but it's okay. Once we get through the other side, it'll be great because we can receive the donations and go from there. And the shop managers, Elliot at Felixstowe and Becky at Walton, are just desperate to open up again. So what we've done in the meantime is lots and lots of online stuff, loads of stuff online, and the shops are really cleaned up and tidy. The stock's been gone through, and we've really made it as lean as we can, ready for the onslaught of donations once they come.
So you're ready for when the lockdown lifts, you'll be straight into action, really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The first minute it's open.
Now there's another question I want to ask you, and I know this isn't your area of kind of specific expertise, but we know that there are in our country, if you like, a lot of people who are homeless. There are people who've been made homeless effectively by COVID because of things like problems with their rental housing and stuff. And I think that's going to continue, perhaps might get worse. What do you see about homelessness or lack of a proper place to live as you see it from your perspective? Because you do know, I think, more about, honestly, people suffering than most of us do.
Well, there's a big difference between places like Ipswich, where we opened up at 6 sites across there. And let me just say at this point, none of the food or anything that is used for Felixstowe is affected by us opening in Ipswich and Debenham, where we opened a couple of weeks ago. We made absolutely sure that Felixstowe gets actually a bit more than it did previously, so there's no contradiction there. But the interesting thing is, Ipswich, you do have people who are actually homeless on the streets, really, really suffering. Thankfully, in Felixstowe, we don't really have people who are sleeping on the streets. What we have is people who are sofa surfing or in temporary accommodation, and they are the people who we're trying to help to get on with their lives and hopefully find a more permanent home. So the needs in Felixstowe are there, but thanks to people like us and the Salvation Army and all the other different groups, we've managed to keep it a lot better than it is in major towns. So it is a problem. I think the pop-up shops help because some of those people who might be sofa surfing, if they can go in with a bag of food that's of significant value as their contribution, then that helps with the household, especially for older teenagers who would ordinarily go out and find their own place, but now they're stuck at home, and that sort of situation. So we're just trying to help people as we can to keep in their homes and have a reasonable standard of living. We have given out a few grants in the last year or so to people who had to pay their rent and were really, really struggling, and the landlords weren't maybe as lenient as they could be. And I think that's something that may come up in the future, so we'll look out for that.
Excellent, Graham. Now, I just want to take literally 1 minute more and say on behalf, I think, of almost everybody who lives here, really, thank you very much for what you do. And thank you to the people who work there and the people who volunteer there for what they do, because I know that you've got a huge body of people behind you, really, haven't you?
Oh,
Doing the
definitely.
work, opening the shops, actually looking after people's interest in real terms. So I want to say thank you for that. And I want to give you a little opportunity, in addition to what you've said, to maybe say something to the whole population. We get on these videos probably between 2,000 and 5,000 viewers.
Right.
So think about those people in Felixstowe, mostly in Felixstowe, some in other places. Have you got a little kind of message from Basic Life? Because we know how important your charity is. And I just want to get you to say something to the people and tell them what you think.
Okay, you put me on the spot
Go
there.
for it, Graham.
I think we're all experiencing something which is unprecedented. We've never had anything like this happen before, and I think the Felixstowe people and community have really worked magnificently together. There's so many good things going on, and now with the vaccinations that they're going through record numbers. And the one thing to remember, I think, for everybody is it will get better. And if you're feeling really down or desperate or depressed at the moment, well, we all are. Everybody is. It's a shared experience. And as a community, we're sharing this and we will get through it, and we'll get through it together. So anybody who's feeling a bit desperate or down, we're there, and we're all going to stay here and work together. And Felixstowe will come out even more magnificent than it was before. We're just going to be a wonderful community. Everybody cares about everybody, and we can show other towns this is how you do it. This is how Felixstowe works. Here we are.
That's fantastic, Graham. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to join us this morning.
Right.
We'll bring you more from Graham when he has something exciting to tell us in the future. And in the Okay, well, what's happening here? I'm going to kill this one because something has gone direly wrong with the system, but such is life. Okay, well, here we go. That was young Graham Denny, and he was. I was really pleased to have him on the show, to be honest with you, because I've known Graham for many years. He has done a colossal job there, and I think he deserves quite a lot of approbation from us, from the population, and from the people who he helps. Okay, what have we got? We've got a new first-time message from Tom Brecht. He says, as to rents and rates, surely the landlords and councillors would want to have some income rather than no income by reducing rents and rates, and the car parks are not being used as much as before. He thinks that's due to Norse actually doing the thing with with car parking, because we're now paying more for our car parking. We pay more for our, but the thing I can't get is we pay more for an hour's car parking than you'd pay at Woodbridge. Bit odd, isn't it? I don't know. There you go. And let's see. Jenny Patterson has come back with some nice market stores in Hamilton Road once or twice a week, limited to local sellers. I think that's a jolly good idea. I don't know if you could limit it to local sellers, because it would have more of a buzz if you had more stalls, regardless of where they came from. But I can see what you're saying. And then let's go down. And young Sarah Jack says it's a really good idea if the road is permanently shut 10 till 4, which it seems likely to be. That's as far as we know. We don't really know where they go with that, but it looks very much as if they will go for a permanent closure on the. Lift that thing up. Sorry about that. It does look as if they go for a permanent closure between 10 and 4 on Hamilton Road. I have to say, the sad thing thinking about it with the shop closures and closed downs and vacancies is there won't be anybody to walk up and down the damn road if we close it or leave it open, to be honest with you. I think we have to. I think it would be nice, from my point of view, if we kind of didn't shut the road permanently, or maybe if we left it as it is without making a firm, forever decision about it until we see what happens when COVID is gone. Doing things too soon, I find quite a worrying idea. What do you think about that? I mean, from my point of view, actually doing stuff like now, let's close it all permanently 10 to 4, and then every damn shop in the road nearly closes. What's going to happen then? And also with the car parks, well, I think let's go back to having half an hour free. Sorry, council. But I think your recent decisions on car parking and town centre shopping have been rubbish, and let's put that up for next week. Okay, that's going to wrap us up for today. I hope you've enjoyed today's show and found it interesting. That's really the only reason to do it. Thank you for contributing, Tom, and Jenny, and Victoria, and Sarah, and anybody else. I haven't heard from 1 or 2 people I usually hear from, but such is life. And I hope you found it enjoyable and interesting. I'm Chris. This is Felixstowe Live, and we will see you jolly soon. We'll be back with a new live show on Saturday morning, but in the meantime, between then and now, we'll do as much other stuff as we can. We've got one more comment that I will just... Oh, right. Okay, let's just say that one. Oh, right. This is Hamilton Road. Yeah, it needs monitoring. Drivers go way too fast, plus parking anywhere. Well, they do, don't they? That was one of the things that having Norse do parking control was due to deal with, but it doesn't seem to have worked at all. Okay, so that's me. I'm going to find my outro now, as we say. Outro, what a stupid phrase that is. And I'll play that, and I will see you. I'll probably see you before, but if I don't, I'll hopefully see you on Saturday. Take great care of yourselves, stay safe, and if you haven't had a jab, I hope you get one soon.